We have seen the Russians react to it in terms of diverting some military manpower and resources to the Kursk area. Not clear to us exactly how much they're going to do, or how many forces they're going to put there, or what their intentions are, or what they're going to do about it. We're going to continue to make sure that Ukraine has the weapons and capabilities that it needs to defend itself.
Cruise missiles?
You will see us continue to roll out packages of security assistance to Ukraine in coming weeks.
This is my video update on this Friday morning, August the 16th. Let's talk about some news. And let's start things off with, how about the German military official talking about German weapons fighting the Russian military in Kursk. Never thought I would be seeing that play out in 2024. Not a good look for Germany. And Germany, they announced that they are preparing a big weapons package to send to the Zelensky regime for December 2024, I believe, is when they're going to deliver these weapons. The analysts who are looking at the list of weapons that will be delivered to Ukraine are saying that this is not really a big amount of weapons that Germany is going to be delivering. It's not a small amount, but not a big amount. And none of these weapons that Germany is going to be delivering to the Zelensky regime is going to change the trajectory of the war, not one bit. But that is what Germany is doing, sending more weapons to Ukraine. This comes after the Wall Street Journal put out an article talking about how the one-time commander-in-chief of the Ukraine military, Zaluzhny, greenlit the blowing up of Germany's energy infrastructure. What's Germany's response to the Wall Street Journal article? Basically saying that it was Ukraine that blew up the Nord Stream pipeline. Well, Germany's response was to announce the very next day that they're going to be sending more weapons to Ukraine, but in December 2024. We'll see if Ukraine can make it until December 2024, because things are not looking good for the Zelensky regime, and Ukraine's collapse has been accelerated because of the Kursk operation. So in Kursk, Sky News is saying that Challenger 2 tanks are being used by the Ukraine military. This is what Sky News is reporting, and we have images of Challenger 2 tanks destroyed in Kursk. So Sky News is saying Challenger 2 tanks, yes, are being used in Kursk, and images came out the very same day showing at least one Challenger 2 tank just completely demolished. Now, remember when the Challenger 2 tanks were given to the Ukraine military, rumor has it that the UK, seeing what the Russians did to the Leopard tanks, said, you know what, keep the Challenger 2 tanks far away from the front line, because we don't want to see any images of Challenger 2 tanks getting destroyed like the images we are seeing with the Leopard tanks. That would be bad for the UK MIC business. But it looks like Ukraine has decided, you know what, UK, we're running out of tanks. We're running out of weapons. We're going to have to use your Challenger 2 tanks on the front lines in battle and in Kursk. And that is what we are seeing. This is actually more confirmation. The fact that we're seeing Challenger 2 tanks in Kursk, this is confirmation that Ukraine is running out of everything. They are being completely demilitarized, and now they're having to dip into the Challenger 2 tanks that the UK did not want Ukraine to throw into battle, because they were worried about the images that we saw yesterday of flattened, we're talking flattened, Challenger tank. This image showed a Challenger tank which was Swiss cheese because the Russians destroyed it. And that's the last thing that the UK wants to see, because the Challenger 2 tank was branded as invincible. Well, not so invincible. But yeah, Challenger 2 tanks. Oh man, we can't enter. So Politico is reporting that the Biden White House is about to give Ukraine some JASSM missiles, joint air to surface standoff missiles. And the Biden White House, according to Kirby, they are working out the details to send the JASSM. What's up, my friend? Say hello to the world. Say hello to the world. Hey, buddy. What do you think of what's happening in the news? No thoughts? All right. All right, I'm going to continue to talk about the news. You have a good day, Mr. Limassol Cat. So, yeah, they're going to give the Zelensky regime these missiles, these long-range missiles. And you know why they're going to give the Zelensky regime these long-range missiles? Which I imagine they've already given these missiles to the Zelensky regime. From what I understand, these are fitted onto the F-16s, or they're going to be fitted onto the F-16s. Once Lindsey Graham finds some retired NATO pilots to fly the F-16s. But the reason that the Biden White House is now talking about these JASSM missiles is because Ukraine has run out of Storm Shadows, and they've gone through about a third of the ATACMS missiles. So the Storm Shadow Wonder Weapon gone, and the ATACMS Wonder Weapon pretty much gone. And the U.S. can't afford to give more ATACMS to Ukraine. There's a really good post on the JASSM cruise missile from Armchair Warlord. I'm not going to read you the whole post. It's pretty long, but I'll put a link for it in the description box down below. Armchair Warlord says, the latest news is that the U.S. is looking at handing over JASSM cruise missiles to Ukraine, which means it's probably already happened. I suspect that the 4-missile Storm Shadow attack on Crimea a few weeks back, after months without seeing them, was actually a JASSM test. The Russians often don't know exactly what kind of enemy munition they're shooting down, and hence report a best guess as to what they engaged. And JASSM is very similar in appearance and performance to Storm Shadow. Recall that for a while the Russians were reporting they were shooting down Ukrainian ground ballistic missiles when they were actually engaging converted S-200 SAMs. This is not an exact science without recovering and analyzing missile debris. Why now? Several reasons. Point number one, Ukraine is probably out of deep strike weapons again. Storm Shadows disappeared from the battlefield months ago. Point number two, related to point number one, Ukraine has probably run out of Storm Shadow carriers. And point number three from Armchair Warlord is it's election season in the US, and the Democrats seem to think Ukraine is a winner given the general zeitgeist in this country. I very much doubt that anyone is going to actually turn out and vote to give President for Life Zelensky more taxpayer money to embezzle, but expected But expecting the Biden administration to have a second brain cell to foreign policy is evidently far too much of an ask. In any event, JASSM is not a game-changing weapon. Its capabilities are very similar to Storm Shadow, and the Russians have absorbed hundreds of those with little noticeable effect on their war machine. So basically what, and I'll put the full post, I'll put a link to the full post down below, but basically what Armchair Warlord is saying is that Ukraine is out of Storm Shadows. He says in this post that they've gone through a third of the total number of ATACMS ever manufactured since they started getting those, and the U.S. can't spare further supplies. He says the Germans are still refusing to hand over the Taurus missiles. Ukraine, they've run out of Storm Shadow carriers. The Biden White House needs to find a way to prevent the Ukraine collapse, at least until the November 2024 election. So the only option left for them is to now give over, and they probably have already given the JASSM cruise missiles. Not going to make a difference. These are no wonder weapons. The Russians have probably already figured out ways to handle the JASSM. Maybe these missiles in the beginning will do some damage, or we'll get some reports of some success using these missiles, but eventually Russia's going to handle this latest Biden escalation. Here's a post from Will Shriver. The JASSM is subsonic, easily tracked, targeted, short range 200 miles, small warhead 450 kg, GPS guided. Russians have defeated all US GPS guided munitions. Other than that, still, it's all the US has left. Hashtag the big attrition has taken its toll. The big attrition has taken its toll, yeah. Demilitarized. The US, the UK, scalp, Storm Shadows, demilitarized. So this is what Politico is reporting. The latest wonder weapon. And they're not talking it up too much. Notice they're not going crazy about the JASSM like they were going crazy about the ATACMS. So that should tell you something. So that's from Politico. And Kirby said that the U.S. is going to be delivering all kinds of weapons to Ukraine. They're going to announce a new package very soon. And Kirby also said, he was speaking to the media, Kirby also said that the U.S., they were not briefed by Ukraine when the Kursk offensive went down. So he said the U.S. is still analyzing and assessing the situation. They're trying to figure out what Ukraine is up to. They're looking at Russia's response and how they've reacted to this Kursk incursion. But according to Kirby, the U.S. was just left out of the decision-making process when the Kursk operation was launched. And Nikolai Patrushev, who is considered to be the second most powerful person in Russia, Putin's right-hand guy, an intel guy, he said that this is all BS. The U.S. claiming that they knew nothing about the Kursk operation. The leadership's claim of non-involvement in Kiev's actions in Kursk region do not correspond to reality. Without their participation and direct support, Kiev would not have ventured into Russian territory, Patrushev told Izvestia in an interview published on Friday. The advisor to President Putin, who has recently been appointed to oversee Russia's global maritime strategy, emphasized that the West put the criminal junta at the head of Ukraine, while NATO countries have supplied Kiev with weapons, military instructors, and continuous intelligence, while controlling the actions of neo-Nazis. Notice the words that Patrushev uses to describe the Zelensky regime. Criminal junta. That's what he calls them, a criminal junta. Man, Zelensky's in trouble. He is in trouble. I'm sensing Russia regime change in Kiev. That's what I'm sensing. the language that they're using now to describe the Zelensky regime, especially after the Kursk incursion, it's pointing to a regime change. Buddy, don't worry. Sleep, sleep. Rest, relax. Relax, my friend. He found some nice shade. I didn't even see him there. Anyway, a lot of cats out today, but they're all looking for shade on this very hot Friday morning. I'm one of the few people that's crazy enough to walk around this morning. Everyone else is either at the beach or sitting underneath some AC. But yeah, the language that they're using, criminal junta. Criminal junta, man. Zelensky's in big trouble. Zelensky's entire administration is in big trouble. So speaking of Zelensky, yesterday he announced that Ukraine has captured Sudzha, this town which is, I believe, 9 kilometers from the border, that Ukraine is obsessed with, or at least the Ukraine information war is obsessed with Sudzha, the capturing of Sudzha. Well, Zelensky said that now the town, the village, I believe it's 5,000 people. Alexander said this is a village of about 5,000 people population, very small. About 9 kilometers from the border with Ukraine. Zelensky said that Sudzha has been captured. All of it has been captured and is finally, after 9 days of Ukraine's super duper big incursion of Russia, it has finally been captured, costing Ukraine thousands and thousands of lives and just about all of the military hardware that they had in reserve. I mean, they threw everything into this Kursk operation, and they've pretty much lost everything. But at least they captured Sudzha, right? According to Zelensky, even though this is being disputed by Russian sources. This reminds me of something. We've seen this movie before, haven't we? We have. This reminds me of the narrative around Krinky, or even more than that, it reminds me of the narrative around Rabotino. Remember Rabotino? During the Ukraine 2023 summer counter-offensive, all the talk for 2 weeks was around Rabotino. We're going to capture Rabotino. Every day we've captured Rabotino. Zelensky, every other day we've captured Rabotino. Then 2 days later, we've captured Rabotino. Then a week later, we've captured Rabotino. and all of the gains that Ukraine made in their summer counteroffensive, the very little gains that Ukraine made, basically whatever they could grab of this small little area of Rabotino, they were all erased by Russia a couple of months later. But that was the entire Ukraine super duper summer counteroffensive was fixated on Rabotino. And now we're seeing this movie play out once again. They're fixated on Sudzha. Because the main goals of the operation, which was to capture the Kursk NPP, that was goal number 1, and goal number 2 was to redirect Russian resources from the Donbass to Kursk, in the hopes that Russia's advance in the Donbass would somehow slow down. None of these goals have been achieved. So now they're talking about 1,000 square kilometers, controlling 1,000 square kilometers. Putin's been embarrassed, and Sudzha. Now it's all about Sudzha. We've captured Sudzha. It's all information war. It's all spinning narratives and information war, which is pretty much the only thing that the Zelensky regime can do anymore. That's the only thing they're capable of doing somewhat successfully is information warfare. But reality always catches up. Anyway, that's what Zelensky said. Sudzha's been captured. Krinky's been captured. Rabotino's been captured. It's the same freaking movie. Meanwhile, Ukraine media, the Kiev Independent, the Kiev Post, they are running with stories, get this, saying that the very important military strategic town of Pokrovsk is doomed. Pokrovsk residents urged to evacuate as Russian forces are nearly 10 kilometers from the city's outskirts. Pokrovsk is an important logistical hub for the Ukrainian forces and supports their operations in Donetsk Oblast. That was fast, huh? That was really fast. All of a sudden, the Russians are within 10 kilometers of Pokrovsk. I wonder how that happened. I wonder how the Russians quickly advanced towards Pokrovsk. I wonder if it had anything to do with diverting resources away from the Donbass to Kursk. Maybe that's what accelerated Russia's advance toward Pokrovsk. And the Ukraine media, they are saying this is a very important military strategic hub. Unlike Sudzha, Pokrovsk holds a whole bunch of military significance for the Ukraine military and for the Zelensky regime. And when and if Pokrovsk falls, then Zelensky is in big trouble. He's already in big trouble, but he's going to be in even more big trouble when Pokrovsk falls. And then when Chasiv Yar falls, he's going to be in even more trouble. And New York and all of these villages and cities, they're crumbling. They're all crumbling quickly, too. So he can wage his information war in Kursk, but reality, sooner or later, reality is going to catch up. August 16th, Cat Day in Cyprus. So what else? Let's do an update on Nord Stream. Let's do an update on the Nord Stream story because we have a twist to the Nord Stream story. And Welt, the German publication yesterday, they reported that an ex-German intel official, an ex-German spy, he is claiming that Poland was involved with Ukraine in blowing up the Nord Stream pipeline. Actually, Duda had an agreement with Zelensky, according to this German ex-intel official. They had an agreement to blow up the Nord Stream pipeline. First off, Reuters contacted Podolyak to get a comment on the Wall Street Journal article. And Podolyak, he said that Ukraine was not involved at all. The Ukrainian government was not involved at all in the sabotage of the Nord Stream pipeline. And he said this, quote, check out this gem from Podolyak. Hey, Podolyak, Reuters wants comment on Nord Stream. Give them comment. So this is what Podolyak said, and I quote, "Such an act can only be carried out with extensive technical and financial resources. And who possessed all this at the time of the bombing? Only Russia," Podolyak said as part of his written comments. Really, Podolyak? Only Russia? Only Russia at the time had the technical and financial resources to do the Nord Stream job. Are you sure about that, Podolyak? There were no other countries that had the technical and financial resources to do Nord Stream? No other countries? Oh, Podolyak, this good comment, I like it. So that's Podolyak's statement. Actually, let me read you the Welt article title. 1 second. Let me read you what Welt is running with. Welt is running with the title, "There were agreements between Zelensky and Duda to carry out the attack," claims the former BND chief, the former German intel chief. Agreements between Zelensky and Duda. You know that Zaluzhny was called to Kiev. The reports are that after the Wall Street Journal article, ambassador to the UK, Zaluzhny, was summoned to Kiev. No explanation given, but I wonder why. I wonder why Kiev has called Zaluzhny to come back home if these reports are true. Oh boy. So yeah, Duda, according to Welt and this ex-German intel chief, Duda and Zelensky, they agreed to blow up the Nord Stream pipeline. By the way, Duda's office, they came out with a statement and they said that Poland and Duda had nothing to do with Nord Stream. Zero, zilch. That's the statement coming from Duda's office in Warsaw. Zelensky number 5 makes you do some crazy things. Alcohol and Zelensky number 5, because the idea to blow up Nord Stream was hatched during a night of drinking. A bunch of guys just drinking and partying it up. They came up with the idea to blow up Nord Stream, and then, according to this report from Welt, Duda, under the influence of Zelensky number 5, he agreed with Zelensky to go ahead and blow up Nord Stream. Oh man. There are reports now in Germany saying that Poland should compensate Germany because of Poland's involvement in the Nord Stream pipeline sabotage. They're all turning on each other, huh? European Union, unity, the unity of the EU. So yeah, I wonder if Germany put out this article in order to take away some attention from their own humiliation of this whole Nord Stream thing. And so they're blaming it on Poland now. They're saying that Poland did it along with Ukraine. Maybe an Article 5? Maybe an Article 5 against Ukraine and Poland. I don't know. I don't know what happens. What a joke. What a joke. This is all becoming. The entire Nord Stream thing is just a humiliation of Germany. Now Germany wants to drag down Poland as well. And it's a humiliation for the entire European Union and the collective West. In order to shield Biden and the Biden White House and all of these people. What a bunch of vassals. What a bunch of vassals. They're perfectly fine being humiliated. Anyway, that's the video. In a week, everyone will forget about this story and we'll move on. Germany is already talking about sending weapons to Ukraine. Wait, I have a clown world. I was going to say that's the video. I thought this was my clown world. It's not my clown world. It could be my clown world, but let's do one more story and we'll wrap up this video. And Google is now following Microsoft, and they are saying that Iran, they attempted to hack U.S. officials' internet accounts and internet documents, and they were using an email phishing technique, and they were looking to hack and to get information, passwords, and codes for Republicans as well as Democrats. So both parties. Iran was looking to hack the accounts of high-level officials in both parties. That is what Google is saying. Some group called APT 42 or something like that, which Google claims is connected to Iran or the Revolutionary Guard or whatever. Yeah, interesting timing, huh? All of a sudden, Iran is hacking everybody in the U.S. government, right? I guess this is just, justification for the U.S. to launch some sort of military conflict with Iran, right? The fact that they're hacking all of these government officials. Is that what we're supposed to believe? I guess that's what they're trying to tell us. Iran they're just bad actors. They're hackers, so the U.S. is going to have to do something, right? Yeah. Anyway, that's the video, everybody. TheDuran.locals.com. We are on Rumble, ODYSEE, BitChute, Telegram, Rockfin, and Twitter X. And go to the Duran shop. Pick up some merch, like the shirt that I'm wearing today, or maybe the hat. that I'm wearing. You will find a link for the merch in the description box down below. Take care. Some ouzo. Anyone wants some ouzo? Come to this place. They've got ouzo.